Hello gainers, I'm Ralphie and welcome to my channel called Fitter Philosophy, which is all about practical, stoic, experience-based stuff which focuses on common sense and experience of real life so as not to be too theoretical, too impractical and too obscure. And the topic of my conversation today is about bedding down for a recession, because the fact is, here in July 2022 we are only just beginning to see all the telltale signs of a global recession, the likes of which has never been experienced before. And we're talking about the scale of things, and we're talking about the coverage and commentary through all the media, whether it be the old media of newspapers and television, whether it be the new media of online activity, whether it be alternative media of people writing books, which is kind of alternative, simply because not a lot of people read books, and this makes it an interesting situation that to find information you have to go looking for a book once you become aware of a book, but when you find it, it will either be complete nonsense or it will be hugely, incredibly informative, and with that information comes empowerment. But I'll talk about books in another video. I'm focusing here on the 2023 global recession. As someone who has lived through a national recession in the UK in the 1960s, in the latter part of the 1970s and in the 1990s, so I've seen three of them in my lifetime, I know their shape. And I'm going to tell you how I am reacting to the forthcoming global recession. One, I'm not travelling anywhere. I am not travelling abroad. I am not sailing. I am not flying, unless it is simply going from the island in which I live to the UK. But as for international travel, as for airports, they are completely off limits to me by decision, by design. The simple reason being the hassle, the unreliability of, the reliability of disruptions, cancellations, of having to deal with a whole load of paperwork and bureaucracy. It's just not worth the hassle. So, particularly for a younger generation who are used to the convenience and opportunity to travel, my recommendation is cut it right down. Find somewhere which is a relatively secure, stable environment and stick to it. Secondly, minimize your debts, because so much of this is financial and it's manipulated. And my own personal debt has been a mortgage, and for a very, very brief period, a car loan. I learned a lot from having a car loan, and it was a huge mistake, and nobody was there to advise me, you see, and this is before the age of the internet, so there was no point of reference, and people just casually would say, you know, if you're buying a car, get a loan. That's what you do, you get a loan. So I was not well guided. So now far more information is accessible on managing loans. I learned a lot from a brief car loan. It was only for about £600 because I was buying a cheap second-hand car. The only car I ever bought new, I kept for 13 years until it was involved in a car crash, which basically totaled it. But it was a great little vehicle, small, economical, practical, Nothing about it, absolutely nothing, was about keeping up appearances and trying to reflect any sort of social status. Frankly, that doesn't matter to me. And see that mindset, by the way, I'm displaying to you right now. This is very, very useful attribute to have, and a very valuable asset in times of recession. Thereafter, I saved through a credit union attached to my employer, where taking a loan was far, far cheaper, far, far more transparent, and you were dealing with people who were decent. Loan companies, in my opinion, are not decent. Not in the way they react so quickly to threaten people with legal action. In other words, resort to bullying when there's any sort of comeback or even an inquiry, a modest inquiry. Cut down your debts as much as possible. One of the easiest ways to do it is clear small debts, consolidate your large debts, concentrate on paying them off, avoid holidays, avoid eating out, avoid buying cups of coffee, make your own, eat sensibly, grow some food, cut down on your shopping bill significantly because you're not overeating and you're not eating for entertainment. The more you can consolidate your cost of living and reduce it, the more that you can avoid the constant hemorrhaging of your personal wealth through excessive spending, particularly at a period of recession. Because it leaves you more vulnerable, more financially vulnerable. And also it affects your health. Because when we're eating for entertainment, it means we're eating sugar and processed food. And these things contribute to cancer, heart disease, and diabetes. It's proven, it's well proven. There's no harm in consuming a little bit of sugar, but most people consume far too much because most people don't even read the ingredient list in the foods that are on sale. The more fresh food, the more organically sourced food. If you've got an area of garden, if you've got that luxury, start growing some food. Start with potatoes and parsnips and turnips. Really, really easy stuff. And when you've grown them, taste the flavour you get out of them that you do not get in shop grown stuff. To eat fresh food is one of the along with exercise, is the single most important things to transform your health and improve your life. And this is you making use of a recession. Now, you're not just weathering the storm, you're actually proactively addressing lifestyle choices, having the reason of a global recession, empowering you to do so. You know you're cutting out the media, all the gaslighting, all the fear-mongering, all the psychological torture that comes through traditional media, television, newspapers. Cut it all out. Don't connect with them, don't buy them. You're going to improve your mental health when you cut them out, because unfortunately in this day and age they are so toxic and so grossly misinformative. I haven't bought a newspaper in 12 years. I haven't watched television in 8 years. I don't pay a BBC television license because I do not have a television to watch. I've got a computer monitor, but it's very easy to make sure that you never watch the BBC live. Why would I? I've got a better quality of life. So there's a recession coming, and you can either blindside it until it hits you, until it damages you, or you can prepare for it. And as you do so, you are empowering yourself. You are taking control of your life at a moment in time with increased technology where you're being encouraged to let go of control. This will greatly improve your mental health. It will significantly improve your physical health. It's an opportunity. Now, I've weathered 3 recessions. One, I was a child, so that was easy because my parents were giving me food on the table, but it was economical food. It was simple food. It was broth. It was a little bit of mince and a whole load of veg in a bowl. Nicely flavoured, very cheap, easy to cook. I never went hungry as a kid, but I did have to eat very, very humbly, and it wasn't a problem. When I was older, leaving school, big recession, I really struggled to get a job. Seriously struggled. But do you know what? You wake up every morning because the world changes around you, and suddenly, even as you're looking for opportunities are looking for you. And all you have to do is wait and grab it when it happens. So I had a long, quite content professional working life. Stuck with the one job a long time. It was a useful job to do. It was an undertaker. Other people don't want to do it. It's not a nice job. But I tell you what, it's a meaningful, relevant, necessary job. I'd rather do that. And I'm glad I did that instead of being in some pointless, soul-destroying, life-sucking job that so many people have to tolerate and stomach in the modern world. Meaningless jobs. There's a lot of them out there. Finally, to go through the experience of managing a situation which is relatively temporary, because everything is cyclical, gives you the opportunity to take control of your life, and when you start to do so, you get more practice and awareness of it. You cut things down, you spend a lot less, you plan a lot less, you have more time because you're creating time, you read books, you gather information. The currency of information is priceless because the information you gain during times of recession prepares you for the times after recession. And that's the way it works. When you've had a bit of practice, it gets easier. The more you do it, the more you practice, the more you connect with the experience, the more consolidating and profound and substantial the lessons learned from it. Well, I hope you found this useful. I'll leave it at that. There is a recession coming, 2023, global recession. We don't hear half of what's going on, of what's really going on out there. But you, with experience, you can see the signs. Keep it simple. Look at the practical stuff and completely dismiss all the whitewash and the white noise which we're being bombarded with to distract us and to delude us. Once you get past that, and it's not difficult, gainers, it really isn't difficult. You will gain. You will gain in life, gain the experience, understand the value of simplicity, and be enormously empowered by it. Let me give you some advice. Here's where to start. Put your mobile phone in a cupboard and walk away from it and have a day off. A day away from your mobile device. I dare you. See, when you do it once, you'll want to do it again and again and again. I'm Ralphie. Enjoy the view.